Disappointed in the outcome, disappointed in 2 games in a row where defensively our attention to detail and discipline's been really, really bad. It was really hard to prepare the team for today. We got home at 3 o'clock in the morning Wednesday night. So on Thursday, there's only so much you can do. To deal with the physicality and the style of play that they play with the 5 perimeter guys, we basically could only spend one day in trying to get ready for that. And you want to call that an excuse, you can call it whatever you want to call it. It's the bottom line. It's the truth. And but with all that said, just disappointed in 6 months of practice. This time of year, you can't have bad discipline and bad attention to detail and win against teams that are as good as LSU.
Frank, Days came in to the game having shot a lot of threes but not making them. I know you guys scouted that, but just how much of a surprise and how much of a letdown was it when he hits his first 3 and hits 4 threes for the game?
Dave, you'd have to ask the players. They've been in here already. You should ask them. My assistant coaches did their jobs.
We talk about the discipline part. It appeared like when your guys attacked the rim several times, they kind of just threw up wild shots. Was that just intimidation factor from the LSU standpoint, or that lack of discipline that you're talking about?
No, discipline was defensively. I mean, offensively, we play with no toughness at the rim, 0. And so that's why we don't shoot free throws. I mean, we drive it. I mean, I can't ask our guards to drive it more than they're driving it. We got 20 offensive rebounds, and we got this for 20 offensive rebounds. Didn't get free throws, didn't get points. When we drive it, our guards don't shoot free throws. They just don't. We got to keep practicing it, going in there and being stronger when we do drive. But the disciplines offensively. We might not play as strong as we need to play, but I can't ask them to play with better purpose on offense. We got to shoot the ball better. You can't shoot 36% and expect to beat upper-level teams. It's just not the way it works. But defensively, it's 2 games in a row where we've been really, really bad defensively.
Frank, Mike picking up those 2 fouls in the first half, how much did that take you guys out of some rhythm, some tempo with as well as he has played recently?
Yeah, a little bit, but he didn't play well today. He didn't play, and he's carried us here for 3 months. So our team let him down today. He didn't play with they made it a really, really physical game, and we had opportunities to go score at the rim, to create fouls at the rim, and to Phil's point, we bailed out. We just quick shot balls. We threw stuff out there to avoid contact, and that's the only thing I'm unhappy about offensively was that, but that connects with our lack of aggression and attention to detail defensively, and just disappointed. We just got beat. The last 2.5 minutes, we actually ran around and kind of, they took the foot off the pedal a little bit. So now it looked like, they played hard. No, we didn't. We got our tails kicked.
Talk about defensively things. What specifically would you like to see your team do better on the defensive end of the ball, and is it stuff you can tweak heading into, I think, Georgia on Wednesday?
Yeah, I mean, we've been good. I told the team Thursday, since we've got a policy at this school that's different than any other school. Guys don't go to class; they get taken off the court. So you get in at 3 in the morning, they got to be in class at 8 o'clock in the morning. So then they got to be the study hall and their tutors and all that stuff. I'm all for that policy. I'm not for the policy of having to get home at 3 in the morning midweek. That I don't like. But it's the hand we were dealt. We didn't handle it the right way. I trusted in the fact that over the last 3 months we've become the best defensive team in the SEC. but I didn't feel comfortable because we were so bad against Mississippi State defensively. And when I'm not comfortable with what we're doing, I fix it in practice. I don't fix it in games. And I didn't have the practice time to be able to address the things that we're not doing well right now.
Against Mississippi State, in terms of that defense, you said you kind of focused on the guards, felt they left the forwards a little out to dry, I guess. Did you feel that was the case in this, or was it
Yes.
kind of all the way back?
Yes, no different. No different. We got young guards, and we've played two teams that have got, Mississippi State's got a 3-year starter at guard, Tyson Carter, who's been a 3-year starter until he decided they asked him to come off the bench this year, so he's a 4-year guy. And they just toyed with us. We couldn't. The things that we talk about doing defensively, we have not done for 2 games in a row. We got good kids in the locker room. They care. It's not like they don't care. We just been bad, and so I couldn't fix it in one day of practice. And I knew this was going to be a real physical game. So dealing with injuries too. It's just you're down in body, so there's only so much you can do in practice without running them into the ground at this time of year. When you got seniors, they understand their bodies are better prepared, their minds are better prepared. With so many first-year guys, mentally sometimes they get bogged down. But we'll fix it on next week. We've got 2 solid days of practice coming off a day off tomorrow, so we'll rectify our issues.
Coach, Larry DiBiase, Night Sports Radio. Your defense have always been so intense and ranked 41st in the country in defensive efficiency. But it looked like tonight that your zone gave them a lot of problems, not only your half-court zone, but your three-quarter press, where they threw it away and kind of caught them off balance for a while, but you couldn't seem to capitalize on that. You think you'll mix it up as you go through the rest of the season?
Yeah, it's the fact that they play with 5 perimeter guys on offense when Emmett Williams is not in the game. It stressed our defense, our man-to-man. And you need to prepare. When people play differently, you need preparation time. And when your guards are all freshmen, they have to practice. You can't coach them through their minds and expect them to understand how to manage situations. But we've used the zone here and there all year, and I'm really stubborn, but I try not to be stubborn to stupid, which, there's a fine line to separate stubbornness and stupidity. And I figured out late in the first half that staying with our man wasn't going to help us. So I decided to go to the zone. I think it slowed them down a little bit. They stopped the ball screen, dribble driving. We were able to kind of cover spaces better. We hit a bad stretch offensively in the second half, which gave them runouts, and just dug too big a hole for ourselves.
How would you assess Keyshawn's play today? He seemed to be really aggressive. Some offensively, some shots seem to be really in the flow of offense, some not, but 10 rebounds as well.
Yeah, I've been on Key about playing better. He's got and it's not just playing better statistically, playing better with his energy and his aggression. And that's he's battled to grow as a basketball player because he's always been an athlete, but no one ever has taught him how to understand how to play basketball. And part of that is not somebody's fault, is that he went to 3 different high schools. So when you keep moving, it's hard to get better. And he's grown up a lot as a person, and he's battled injuries all year. So it's hard to improve as a basketball player if you're not getting repetitions consistently. But what I keep telling him is, like, you don't need practice time to play with energy. You don't need repetition to play with energy. You have to play with energy. And he's got to get better again. He's not very good with his defensive principles right now, but his energy was good. And, grabbed 10 rebounds. I don't think he's going to average 10 a game, but he's got to do better than getting 2 a game, and that's what he's been getting for us.
At the risk of covering ground that's pretty well trod, do you feel like this puts you in a tough position NCAA tournament-wise, simply from a time standpoint and an opportunity standpoint?
Why are they making the decision tomorrow? So, and there's not. So you consider the SEC schools bad teams? Well, we got at least 5 games left. And last time I checked, we're not playing anybody with a bad net, RPI, or whatever. I understand your question. That's one of the reasons I'm disappointed, because this would have been a great opportunity. But if they were making the decision tomorrow, I'd go home and cry tonight. But they're not making the decision tomorrow. They're making the decision 3 weeks from now. So we got to go win the next game on the schedule. It's we can't get consumed. So okay, so let's say we would have figured out a way to make 2 more threes, and we win by 1 today. Do you think I'd have been a celebratory mood because tomorrow morning they say they were in the tournament? No, I'd still be a miserable SOB. That's the way I live at this time of life, this time of the year. But at the end of the day, we got to go beat Georgia, period. End of story. We don't need to worry about all that stuff. Georgia, that's it. Go win. You can't afford losing streaks. What you can't overcome at this time of year are losing streaks. That's what you got to stop right away. You got to go win.
I know both of them came back, but just wanted to check what happened to Mike and Trey when they got kind of dinged up.
Mike, I think, tweaked his ankle. Trey Hannibal, I didn't know he got dinged up. Keyshawn got hit in the place that hurts a lot. Yeah.
Rick, you talked about being frustrated about wasting this opportunity. Did you sense that from the team talking to him, and kind of what was your message to kind of regroup them a little bit?
Yeah, I didn't say a whole lot after the game because I'm not gonna be negative with those guys. Those guys have played their tails off to give us a chance to be a good basketball team, which we are a good basketball team. But I learned from my high school coach. I used to share all my emotion after games with teams, and my high school coach used to always tell me, like, Frank, stop. If you're not going to go in there and say positive things, just let it be. Let it be. Get your mind right, then go address the team. So I'm it's the first time all year that I'm disappointed. We lost some games earlier in the year. It stinks to lose, but those were lessons that we had to learn. You know, today I'm disappointed. We knew this was going to be a physical game. We knew it's a real good basketball team. Let's not act like we just played a team that's kind of, ranked 10th in, some conference no one's ever heard of. This team was undefeated 2 weeks ago, and they hit a bad stretch, and in first place in the league, and they're coming off a couple losses, and they're pissed because that's what teams that win the league do when they lose some games. And they came out here today with a purpose. They didn't come out here today to just kind of go through the motions, and so we had to be real good today, and we weren't.